Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rise of Singularity. This is our discussion game development. Terzano. So, without getting too much into the mechanics of here, the game is best explained by just getting into it and explaining it there. So, we're going to go ahead and jump into this. We got any and this will take a few CPU cycles to Alright, so this is the base layout, and it's a lot to take in, but it'll make sense in a second. So, what is the goal? Well, what is the goal of the Rise of the Singularity? Well, you are a singularity, which is just a mass conglomerate of intelligent AI. And as that AI, you can possess little robot guys that you can send to do things. And so our main objective as a good moral AI that wants to save the universe is to go over to these bad guys, destroy their base. And our win clause is determined by destroying this enemy core right here that is heavily guarded by multiple enemy units. As you can see, they are scattered about over there. And it's also, it might be a little self-explanatory, but basic controls, you can zoom in and out. I am only using a mouse at the present moment. I'm not using anything else. You can move about the screen by moving your mouse to the edge of any one of the screens, and even moves diagonally as well. And so it's a real-time strategy game, so every second that passes matters. As you can see up here, the time until the next enemy attack is in 220 seconds. So as soon as that hits 0, they're going to start sending over some enemy units to come attack my base. And so how are we going to defend? How are we going to destroy? Well, we need to create military units. To create military units, we need resources. So we're going to explain a little bit just the resources here. So our first resource is metal. That's what this dark hole looking stuff is. And then our next resource is static. That's what these cool looking resources are over here. And our last resource is platinum. And that's what this is. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to focus in on our little worker guy here. You can see our little W provider. And this is the main way. This guy is our ticket to getting resources. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to send these guys to go collect static. If I click on him, there we go. If I click on him, you can see that he has 50 out of 50 health. And you see he has a little inventory for what he can and cannot collect. After that is, and also, this is where, so our core is our main building. So this is where we create our worker units. And as you can see, I can't hover over it. I have to hover over the icon itself. But you can see that it costs 50 electricity from our resources to create a worker. You can see one just popped out right here. And so I can click it a bunch of times, and you watch my static up there went down to 0. So I've expended everything I have. You can see, by default, a worker, this guy, now did have 10 electricity, and he'll drop it off at the core. And as you can see now, I have static 10. The 10 is the maximum amount they can carry. So we're going to send these guys to go work over here. Now, what's cool about this is that we can create special buildings like the static collector that we actually do not have enough electricity for at the moment. So we'll need another one of these guys to go drop off some static before we can create it. There are special buildings in this that allow us to move our drop-off point closer to the resource itself. So for instance, this guy's about to go drop it off. These guys are going to go work. And I'll select this guy. Now that we have 30, we can build this static collector. And I want everyone to work on this. Go ahead. Should also mention as well that if I select a guy, I do that with left click, and if I want to move him, I tap right click to give him a command. So I can tell him to move here, I can tell him to move down here with a right click, or if I right click on a resource, I'm telling him to go collect it. As you can see, the enemy wave up here just hit 0, so now it's restarting. And if we go over to the enemy space over here, we can see at that they got a guy walking over here and keeping me over soon. So we really got to get our economy going and get the static pumping in. And as you can see, these guys are collecting some static. They got a little particle effect of the static going into them, and they're dropping it off at this static right here. Set this guy here as well. I guess now is a good time to talk about the different buildings as well. So you have a static collector. That's a thing for dropping static resource. You also have this guy, which is mine. I right click mine. My guy's going to do that. I'll put one over there as well. But the mines are drop off points for metal and platinum, so it's drop off points for metal. The other building we can make is a turret, and our base is already surrounded by turrets, so I'm not really concerned about this guy who's making his way over, because he's just going to get lit up. So we'll go here. Send this guy like that. You can already see the turrets are starting to attack. And you can see he's attacking it, and he has a health bar. And little explosion, he has now died. But we have 75 more seconds until we are static. Rank it. Now that we got all these guys over here collecting. This guy here. Right. And so this is the first phase of the game. The first phase of the game is very much focused on building up an economy that will be able to eventually support an entire military. I should also mention as well that as an AI, it has so many robots. So if you look right here, you can see that I have 17 out of 30 memory dedicated right here. Those are the number of units I can control. So, and how I increase that is by owning bus. So the bus is like, it's what this like green neon like light is. That is a visual representation of how much memory, how much space I occupy as the AI. And so the way I increase that is by destroying an enemy outpost, building my own outpost there, and then I will increase my memory capacity by 10. But I feel pretty confident right now in just the numbers of resources that I'm generating. If I go over here and I click on this resource, you can see that there's only so much material available, and there's little animation states for how much of the resources left as well. So you can get a little glimpse for how much you have left. I'm going to go ahead and get this guy to make a factory. Now the factory is what is able to create military units. Also, just a few little feature things. You can see that everything has custom sound effects. Everything that we click on, and all the music was custom found to fit this sort of synth wave theme, dystopian-like era of AI. And so now that we have our factory available, we can create military units, and we can create ranged units. Sorry, melee units and ranged units. Everything is a military unit. You can see we have our MM16 Guardian. He has 100 health. It's a battle unit designed for close range combat. And you can already see some guys coming. Go attack. Alright, take care of those guys. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to generate some more guys here. you've got the resources coming in. So just general strategy for the game, it's very important to focus on your economy early game than rushing over there with a few troops, because you won't be able to have an economy that'll be able to support the military. Got a few range guys, a few more melee guys, and we'll go over there and claim what is rightfully ours. I think what I'll do as well is that since I have so many guys static, that I will pull a few of them off, and I'm going to send them to make just a little cheeky factory up there, so we can use units from up there, and they can just swing in and attack. And we'll move these guys up here. You can see we got the little worker guys that are going up to work on it. And I think I want these guys to walk over here first. Looks like their pathfinding was telling them to walk up the middle between this valley, which I don't want them to do because I don't want them to get seen by this turret. We got a few units. We'll send them over here. And as you can see, we're at 29, so we're making our last unit that we can make. We'll just go up there, we'll build a factory. And I think back home as well, we'll pull 2 of these guys. Oh yeah, definitely low on metal right now. That's, well, V1 is shitty having a wave. So what we're going to do is that we're going to let this wave of military units almost pass by, so that eventually come up here. So we have 3 less units to worry about after. Some of those guys can move there. You guys can start that. So we have to flatten up this. We're running a little bit low on metal. But as you can see, they're conglomerating, and it looks like the battle is about. These guys idle. We're not really worried about these guys. Let's go send these guys. As you can see, this guy's shooting a laser, which is really cool. And now the battle is beginning. Good. As well. You up there. You get a shot. So a little micromanaging going on here. So as you can see, now that the bus is disconnected, they are losing their connection in this space. We lost a few workers, I don't know where they went. Alright, that's okay. We'll just create another one real quick. They have no idea where those workers went. Thought I sent them over here. Interesting. Okay, we got a good chunk. Just send them all to attack that. I'll send that to attack that. And from before, we didn't have to look. This guy just took care of it. Alright, we have destroyed those turrets. And so now what we're going to do is that we're going to get our little worker guy. We're going to move him up here. Schmovin. Right, and our resources are looking good. But the reason why we're sending a worker is so that we can build our own outpost here. And that'll allow a connection between what will occupy more of the memory on the map, which means we can have a higher capacity. seconds. As you can see, we got some guys coming. Let us let these guys take care of that. I should be able to handle it. There we go. You see, we have a connection. Very excited. But we got a war going on here. Guys, go attack. Go attack. Don't be stupid. Right. I'm going to tell this guy to build a factory right around there. And as you can see, now that we've made that connection, we can now have 10 more troops, which is huge for our economy. Right, I'm going to pull guy to go do some more that. Those guys are working on that. This guy is building this. Go ahead and build some more of those guys. And it looks like we could use some more. We'll build a mine right here, so that we can. Maybe this turtle come in handy. And we will have this guy do some stuff as well. Oh, an outpost here, which is cool. Also, all the military guys up here. So I think general strategy what we're going to do is probably wait, come and attack them. Should be half. And then once they come to attack us, we'll go in and push to kill 6 guys we have up there. And as far as the enemy waves work, so every time they send an enemy wave, one more is added to that wave. So as you can see, there's 5 units. So this is the 5th wave we're sending over. New waves get sent over every 5 minutes. Alright, there we go. We're at maximum capacity, and we'll let them do this. Dramatic music. Which AI? There we go. Oh, they're just getting messed up. And now that they're done, guys, get in there. Let's go clean this up. We didn't lose a single guy. Dramatic. We're dealing mad damage. Oh, what defenses do they have now? Literally nothing. Go attack this turret. Split up. You guys go down there. Yeah, you guys have fun. Go have fun. That factory's done. This game is amazing resources. We can pull this guy 10 times over. There we go. There is our victory. So now what we'll do is we restart the game, but I will be running my base menu. And so from there, we also have bases for understanding the game. We also have a few tutorials that actually walk through have a presentation going on how to gather resources and how to create military attack. We also have a second scenario that is super fast outpost, and we have a free set of water resources generating. But that is Rise to Singularity.